Hello, Sagittarius. This is your reading for October 2025. Remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we open up the reading today with the Tree of Life Oracle card, and you have the crown. You have source, point, and attainment. This is the spiritual source. I feel like this is really a good omen for the reading. I think this kind of like puts a blessing on the entire month for you. This is the highest spiritual source, the highest spiritual self for you. Okay, so I feel like it really is a time for kind of getting back to our core essence, you know, like who we are underneath all of the busyness, all of the nonsense of life. You know, and really getting in touch with that spiritual essence. I'm Paul, this is Dove and Serpent Tarot. We're going to do the rest of our cards. Let's lay them out on the table. You have a 5 of Cups. You have an 8 of Pentacles. We have a 9 of Swords. 9 of Wands, look at that, strength. We have a Tower, yes, okay. Yeah, I think that the Tower's been showing up in a lot of readings for the month of October. I feel like October, it almost feels like for half of you, it's going to be a really relaxing month where nothing happens. And then for the other half of the zodiac signs, it seems like it's going to be a month of really taking charge and making changes, you know? So I feel like there really is that kind of a split, and maybe it would be fun to look at that and to see if it's maybe more of the, you know, more active signs that are getting all of the changes, or, you know, vice versa, or if it's water signs or how that's working out. But it feels to me like it might be some fire energy here with the fire signs getting a lot of changes. I feel as if change is on your mind. I don't feel like any disasters are happening in October, but I feel like a lot of you are considering big moves. You're thinking about big changes, okay? It doesn't mean that you're going to go through with those big changes. And that's what I kind of see with this card here. It's kind of like Spirit's telling you just keep doing what you're doing. Slow things down. With that 8 of Pentacles, it's saying don't do any really huge changes, but what's on your mind is a Tower. What's on your mind is like, I just want to smash it and start over. Okay? I think Spirit's telling you, don't do that. Okay? Let's keep going here. We have a Knight of Wands, 3 of, seeing another card here with your general energy is the Knight of Wands, impulsive. I just want to change. I want to leap into something else or leap away from something else. And yet in the environment, you have a 3 of Pentacles. It's saying just get back to work. Keep doing what you've been doing. Don't make any sudden moves this month. That seems to be the message. And there's the Ace of Cups. And with our crown, our source point, attainment, I feel like this is the month where you don't smash your toy. You reconnect with why you love it, to why you decided to do it or be with it or work there, or, you know, go down that path to begin with. To me, this feels like a month of reconnection, not a month of destruction. And I want to make that very clear before we dive in deeper into these cards, okay? Finally, we have a Prince of Swords there at the end. I think that's a nice kind of way to end the reading, because it kind of shows like a fixed air energy. It's someone who just kind of has their mind set on what they're doing, and it's a mind that's not changing, you know? It's a mind that maybe has remembered why they're here and is saying, okay, I'm gonna see it through. I'm gonna keep going here, okay? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here with our little sea turtle friend right on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below the video, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we do see that this Tower is the one major card that we have. So it feels like that's kind of that's the big, you know, the big idea that's sort of looming over your month here, is this idea of either when the heck is the breakthrough going to happen, or should I just smash it and do something else? You know, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's a relationship, an art project, if it's your job, if it is your physical fitness routine, it's maybe starting to feel like I've been putting in the work, where the heck is all the love? Where is all the reward? Okay, so we've got a lot of fire, 1, 2, 3 fire cards. We have a couple of water cards, a couple of air cards, and of course, a couple of earth cards. So it's fairly balanced. But I think the big thing that's on your mind for October is whether to continue with something or to leave it alone, or to, kind of, do I keep pushing forward? Is the breakthrough going to happen? Because right now you have this 5 of Cups, which is disappointment, sadness. Something should be there, but it's not. So I feel like this month, is kind of like you're looking around at what you're doing and you're just thinking, I expected there to be something else, It's like you've been working out for months and you're like, I expect to see some bigger muscles, I expect to see some change in my bank account or something like this. I expect there to be some sort of positive reinforcement that says, you're doing a good job. And maybe as you are headed into October, you might be feeling like, where is that? Okay, 'cause that's what disappointment is with the 5 of Cups. Something should be there, but it's not there. So if it's your relationship, if it is your work stuff, if it's your home stuff, and, maybe just be kind of a general feeling of like, it's not as rewarding as it should be. Like life is just doesn't have that doesn't have the sweetness to it. We're looking for a 6 of Cups. What we get is a 5. But of course, if we reconnect with what we're doing, we have a 5 plus an ace. We're going to get that 6 of Cups. I promise you. Stick with what you're doing. It's going to pay off. That's the message here. Okay. But this 5 of Cups, it's very easy to get discouraged. It's very easy to say, I've been doing it for months now and I got nothing to show for it. I should quit. Or maybe it's just kind of like, I can't quit, and it's frustrating because we can't quit. Because maybe it's, you've been putting in so much effort into something, and, well, if you really look at it, it has been giving you a lot in return. But maybe not the pleasure that you thought it would. Does that make sense? So I think that it's important, as we talk about the 8 of Pentacles, to really slow down and look at what you're doing and recognize how much actually is there because of what you're doing. Because again, the 5 of Cups is saying something should be there, but it's not. Or it's saying, I've been doing all this work, but I've got nothing to show for it. Or it's kind of like maybe you've been working a new job, it's been paying you a lot of money, but you say, where is all the money? Okay. Maybe the 8 of Pentacles is saying, slow down, don't be hasty, look around, and maybe you'll see how much you've actually really accomplished in the last few months, let's say. And so you can begin to recognize that, hey, yeah, there has been progress. That you're not just sitting with piles of money on your desk, but maybe all of that income went to pay off some bills. It went to maybe you made big purchases. Maybe you paid off some loans or some school debts or something, or maybe you took a vacation, or maybe you upgraded something at your house. And so I think you'll see that there has been a lot of rewards for the work. Okay, but it may just not be, I don't know, what you were expecting to see, or you may not really have the metric that you've been using to sort of gauge your success. That might not be the right metric. Maybe your bank account is not sky high, but maybe you've been doing other things with your money that if you were to look at, you say, okay, yeah, it went to good things, I think there's also this idea of energy leakages, though, too. So we need to look at both angles. And that's kind of what the 8 of Pentacles is all about. It feels like the cards are telling you for October, Sagittarius, to slow down. Don't do anything hasty. Don't make any big moves or sudden changes. And instead look around and see where your energy is going and why. Where are you putting all of your money? Where are you putting all of your effort? And why? What is that doing for you? You're putting in extra hours at work, and then you're getting extra money, right? What are you doing with that money? Okay, is that a good use of your time in a way, right? So it's a month of careful, detailed sort of accounting of what you're doing in life. Yeah. For a lot of you, this is going to be a month of self-care. And I know we started out this reading saying, wow, you got the Tower, you got a 9 of swords, 9 of wands, 10 of wands. It seems like a lot of changes happening. No, I don't feel like it is. I feel like there is a holding firm to the path you're on. And I think that might be what is separating the signs like I was talking about, where it feels like a lot of you are getting kind of a rest and relax kind of vibe, for the month. Others are getting a lot of this fiery, active, hectic, chaotic energy. But I think the message is the same for everybody. Rest, relax, enjoy the things that you have. Recognize the fruit that your labor has produced. And I think the difference is that for some signs, I think Sagittarius, you're one of them, it's difficult for you to slow down and recognize the fruit. But for someone like I just did a Cancer reading where it's just like, you're just going to have a really chill month. You're just going to be relaxing with your feet up for the month, And I think it's maybe easier for other signs to do that and to recognize that. But I think you're very active and you're very much in go mode. It may be difficult for you to slow down. The 8 of Pentacles also suggesting that you take care of your body, okay? That you understand, let's say we're looking to recognize the fruit of our labor, right? So we say, okay, what am I eating every day? And how is that making me feel? Who am I hanging out with every day? And how does that make me feel? Where am I putting my time, my effort, energy, money, and space? And what is that giving me back? So I think that October really is that month of like self-care for sure, but then also taking an accounting of all your expenditures and asking yourself, is that an investment or is that just me consuming stuff? Like I got a problem, I like to eat, So, I'll spend a lot of my money just on like going out to a restaurant or something. And I'm learning to stop doing that because that's just me consuming, like literally consuming rather than investing in things, rather than putting that extra money in things that are actually going to lead to long-term success and long-term, happiness and results that I want to see. I still love eating out. I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to go to the restaurants. But it's just to be aware of where we're putting our resources, okay? And I think that it's important that we take the sort of advice from the cards this month for October, Sagittarius, and slow down a little bit. Now maybe that doesn't mean you're going to take time off work. Maybe that doesn't mean you're going to put in less hours. But it means you're going to take intentional time to do that accounting and to make sure that you're treating yourself kindly and that you're paying attention to your needs. Because the other thing I feel with the 8 of Pentacles is that part of your disappointment of the 5 of Cups is that things have become just sort of too routine. As part of the 8 of Pentacles, it's just kind of, it's the same thing. It's like a Groundhog's Day. I'm just doing it again and again and again and again. And I think that kind of gives us a little bit of a Tower impulse, where it's just like a Knight of Wands, or I just want to do something else, something exciting, I don't want to get bored. And I think that's a big challenge for a lot of us. We don't want to get bored. We want novelty, we want excitement, okay? And that's a good thing, and we should make room for that. But I think we need to be very mindful, at least be aware of how much we're spending of our energy on things that aren't giving us the satisfaction or the kind of joy that we're looking for, the connections, There's one other thing about the 8 of Pentacles that I wanted to mention. It slipped my mind for right now. Oh, the 8 of Pentacles, I think this is a month, yes, of if you're working on any kind of a project right now, Or if you're doing if you're in university or in school, you're studying something, or you're working on any particular project. The card is saying pay very attention to the small details because you might miss something. In your haste to rush forward from a 9 to a 10, go, 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 you might miss something. So that message is coming in specifically for those of you that are working on something that feels like it's something very important. And you'll have to excuse my voice today because I'm losing it, obviously. Those of you working on a big, important thing, don't go fast. Double check your work because something might be missed. You're filling out paperwork or something like that, right? You do want to make sure you sign everything or make sure you put the right date on stuff because that could be a detail that you overlook that's really going to make things stop. You forget to sign the paper and then you mail it in. Well, you just added a month onto your wait because now they got to send it back. Then you got to sign it. And then you got to send it back again. Avoidable delays. Be careful. Take the time up front to double check everything so that you can avoid a further delay. Because those are things that you can prevent. This is preventative measures, right? And this for your physical health too, preventative measures. Okay, get the checkup, go to the dentist, do all that good stuff. Preventative measures this month. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good time for that stuff too. Now, under the surface, this is kind of what's in your heart right now. This feels like we're kind of, it feels like we're stressed. It feels like we're kind of overwhelmed by some of the energy that we have because it feels that there's worry. It feels that there's maybe, I don't know, it could feel like there's too much to do and there's not enough time to do it. It could feel, this could be some anxiety that says, I've just spent all this time, effort, energy, money, and space on the wrong thing, you know? And then this worry, this torments us. It's rumination, it's stress, it's really this anxiety. And it would lead us right into a tower. I think the nine of swords and the tower are like best friends. Because we're sort of like, we're working ourselves up into a panic. And then we're going to do something impulsive. Okay? So try not to anyway, get overwhelmed by your thoughts and feelings here. This is Mars, right? A lot of Mars energy. And what Spirit is saying is to channel that Mars energy over here to your Three of Pentacles. Into productivity, into work. It's kind of like saying if you're stressed out, go for a run. If you're starting to panic, go lift weights. If you're kind of feeling some anxiety about your investments, it's saying go put in some extra time on your important project. Go double check. Go continue doing the work. Staying in motion is gonna be helpful. And so we kind of see a contrast, right? Because the Eight of Pentacles is saying, slow down, double check your work. But then we slow down, we start to panic more. And so it's like, we don't want to stop moving because then this energy is going to multiply. We're going to give this time to grow. This is going to be, it's going to cultivate inside of us. All the nines are cultivation. The nines are multiplier cards, right? So this is a misery multiplier. So we don't want to stop moving, but we do want to slow down and take an accurate accounting of what we're doing and to look around at the details and think, you know what? I've made a lot of progress. In the last year of your life or the last few months, acknowledge how much you've, produced and say, you know what? I've done a lot. Where were you like 6 months ago? Okay. Compare and contrast your life 6 months ago to where you are now. Okay. The Nine of Swords, sometimes this is the thinking, feeling that we need to acknowledge. And especially when we have that Five of Cups. So it feels like, we're sort of expecting something to be there. We don't feel like it's there. And then we start to panic. We start to panic. Why isn't it there? Did I make the wrong choices? Etc., etc. We have to do for this card. You know what we have to do? A language of flowers affirmation card. Courage, be brave, be strong, believe. Sometimes that Nine of Swords is that I don't believe in it anymore. I've lost all hope. We've abandoned our belief. When we just said it's hopeless, it's helpless, we're despaired. So that courage, I think, is important. The courage to continue on and to really slow down, to be willing to slow down and allow. 'Cause sometimes, when we're feeling anxious, we tend to want to do more faster to keep ourselves busy, And then that just sort of makes the anxiety worse because then we're feeling physically run down and mentally and emotionally run down, and the anxiety gets worse. Okay, we want to do things with that Eight of Pentacles to make the anxiety better. Take care of yourself. Slow down, recognize your progress. Pat yourself on the back if you can. And be strong and believe. Believe in your path. Okay, believe in what you're doing because it is important. Now, last month we have a Nine of Wands, and that's a card of strength. I think that September was a very committed month for you, and this to me feels like you're right in the prime zone of your energy. It feels like you're connected with your purpose. It feels like you are strong and you are stable. You are holding firm. You are standing up to the pressure. You're committed, right? It feels like power. This is that power that you feel when you're connected with that purpose. I know what I'm doing. I believe in it. I'm committed to it. And, you feel really confident here. Now with that Five of Cups, this month feels like I kind of lost my mojo a little bit. Well, we can get the mojo back, so don't worry about it, okay? But you endured last month, and I feel like last month was probably a bit challenging, wasn't it? You held firm. You stood up straight. You had your independence, and you had your confidence. And that's beautiful. And it's okay that it fluctuates. It'll wax and wane, that confidence. Okay. But the idea here is that when your belief or your confidence or your courage or your strength wanes, fluctuates a little bit, it starts to, maybe ebb, that you are able to slow down and say, okay, you know what? I'm feeling a little blue this month. That's okay. I got to give myself a little extra kindness. Maybe the Five of Cups, some of you may be sick like me. And it's just a matter of, okay, then you know what? You maybe still have to go to work. You still have to take care of your responsibilities. Take the kids to school, go shopping, pay bills, do all that stuff, right? But you could still do it a little bit easier, putting less pressure on yourself and making sure that you take a moment for that kindness to yourself. Get a little extra sleep. Go to bed a little early. Drink a little extra water. Give yourself, some leeway, some wiggle room, to feel how you feel. The Five of Cups, for some of you, it may be a month of a little bit of sadness. It's disappointment. There's no way around that, right? We have to kind of recognize, what am I disappointed about? And what can I do about that? And what we can do about that is accept it. Say, okay, I'm feeling disappointed. That doesn't mean that I need to abandon the work I'm doing. Maybe you're sad about a relationship. Maybe you're sad about a friend or something, like did something, or something happened at work, or whatever it is. Maybe we're disappointed in other people. We're feeling a little bit down on ourselves, and that's okay. self-care is going to prevent us from sinking into a Nine of Swords. Bottom line. Slowing down and giving yourself recognition for your accomplishments. And seeing how far you've come and trying to stick with the routine, but giving yourself a little bit of slack. Okay? So the Nine of Wands, I think, for, last month maybe felt like everything was going great. There were challenges, but you were strong enough to overcome those challenges. I kind of feel like now is a month of recharging some of those batteries. And I've said this to other signs too. I think it's a perfect month. October is a great month for recharging those batteries. Because I feel like we're just coming out of summer, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. We're coming out of that kind of central season, high intensity season, whether it's summer or winter. And we're headed into fall or spring. And it's a great month for kind of gearing up for all of the rush of activity that's coming in November, December, January kind of transitions, So I think this is a good month for kind of like consolidating forces and getting ourselves kind of put back together and getting ready for a push later in the year, okay? You got a Tower up here. To me, this feels like what's on your mind is abrupt change. It kind of feels like there's this impulsive desire to just smash the toys, do something drastic. Just quit. I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to break up with them. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to just crumple up my paper and throw it away. I'm going to delete the book I've been writing on the computer. I'm going to erase the song that I just was trying to record or something, We don't want to do that. It's a disruption. It's a sudden change. It is that impulse for destruction. Yeah. It's a breakdown, and that's kind of like I just give up. There's too much. When life starts piling too many things on you, it just makes you feel like I can't accomplish all those things. I feel overwhelmed. So then we break down. We don't do anything. Don't go to work. Don't go to school. Don't pay the bills. Don't take care of myself. We don't want to do that. So for some of you, this is that impulse that says, I just want to quit. The job, the relationship, the project, the art, the school, whatever. I just want to just be done. I just want to forget about it. I want to smash it and sweep it away and pretend it never happened. I don't think you're going to do that. That seems very drastic to me, okay? I think for some of you, this is also you wondering, where's the breakthrough? Where's that big revelation? Where's the big success you've been plugging away at life for so long? Where's the door? Where's the, where is that leveling up? Okay. I think it's coming sooner than you think. We have that Ten of Wands in the future position. I think by the end of the month, you're going to start to see a lot of, sort of like a culmination of things. Yeah. The Ten of Wands to me is a maximum effort. To me, it feels like we're going to continue to push ourselves. We're going to try to do that maintenance, of the Eight of Pentacles so that we can push through the final step of something. Because this Nine is like my engine's running perfectly tuned up. But now that Five of Cups is saying, it's not running so smoothly. The engine is just not purring like it used to. Also, we got to do the maintenance. Got to change the oil. Got to put in some good spark plugs. Maybe change the transfer casing fluid. I don't know if that's a thing. Change your blinker fluid, all that good stuff. Because it feels like then we can push again. So I feel like towards the end of the month and even into November, I think a lot of you are coming to the culmination of a path or the accomplishment, the achievement of a goal. okay? And I think that really, because this is the 9 and the 10, and this is kind of like we're slowing down right in between the two. So it kind of feels like this is supposed to be the home stretch. It's supposed to be the home stretch. Yeah. But I think that we're falling a little bit short. As we get closer to the goal here, we're starting to feel more and more run down. And so I think we have to really take care of ourselves. We have to avoid either of these extreme cards. And we have to just slow down, take care of ourselves, and prepare for that final, the final step to the finish line. The 10 of Wands, I like the 10s. I think the 10s are all really good cards. Because this, to me, feels like all your effort is finally going to give way. It's like there's, you're gonna push as hard as you can, and then it's gonna be, then, you know, the breakthrough is gonna happen. The burden, you know, on your shoulders is gonna be lifted. Okay. So I think a lot of you are much closer to the goal than you realize. So now is not the time to quit. I think also for some of you, this is a card that's saying, you know, we have to be willing to ask for help. Yeah. What started as an independence, you against the world, feels like now we're being advised, at least by the cards, to consider some interdependence. It doesn't need to be us against the world. Maybe it could be two against the world. Okay? Maybe there's a way to make the path a little bit easier for yourself. And this doesn't mean necessarily that, like, you got to go out and get a roommate. How else can you make the path easier for yourself? What are some ways in your life that you can lighten the load? Think about it. How do we make our life easier? I mean, that's genius if you can figure it out. That's all of life. At least if you're if you're a creative person, if you're like an inventor kind of person, that's your whole deal. How do you make life easier for somebody else? If you can figure that out, you've got a product to sell. You're going to be rich, because that's all it is. If you can make someone else's life easier, they will pay money for it. So this card is telling you to either spend some money on things that'll make your life easier. And that you can do that now because you're going through that 8 of Pentacles where you're sort of taking an accounting of your energy. Let's not put our energy into things that are making our life harder. How could I put my resources into something that will make my life easier? Okay, because I feel like the next month going into November is going to see kind of a bigger push, but it's the final push. It's the push really that's going to bring things over the finish line. It's going to bring about the breakthrough you're looking for. I got to take a drink here. My coffee here is going to try to make my life easier. Anyway, I feel like this is a really big thing for us this month. Let's try to make our life easier. Let's realize those things, people, places, things, products that we can invest in that will make our lives easier. If I could pay, $5 or $10 and have something in my life just get a little bit easier, it's worth the money, because, your resources, those are finite. How much time you have, that's finite. If you could pay somebody else to do some of the, if you can outsource some of your business, that frees up time for you. And it's costing money. Yeah, you got to pay somebody to do your accounting. Maybe, right? It frees up time for you to do the creative part, or to just spend time with your family, or to spend time with yourself, or to just relax, or to sleep. Maybe you got to pay somebody to walk the dog so you can get an extra hour of sleep. whatever it is. So this month, let's figure out a few ways that we can make our lives a little bit easier. Yeah. Path of the Serpent, your general energies now. You have a Knight of Wands, fiery rush, an eruptive force tower. Goes right in with our tower. These cards here are really telling a bit of a story here. That our stress, our anxiety is really has us thinking about smashing our toys, quitting, leaving, breaking it up, just breaking down, and giving it up. This is that card too that you're just kind of burning inside of you. You feel an itch to, just do something. You know, when you're at your, I don't know if you've ever been in this position, but where you've been at a job for a long time, and it's just kind of so routine, and it's just like nothing's happening. I don't have anything to show for it, which isn't really true, because it's been paying the bills, been paying the rent for years, right? But I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting ahead. Paycheck to paycheck. I'm not leveling up at all. For me, at least, there's been that moment where it's just like, maybe I should just get up and quit right now. Maybe I should just throw all of this away and go move to some small town in the middle of nowhere and just start over. Yeah, maybe that's what I never actually did that. Well, I sort of did that when I moved out here, but I still had my job when I moved out here from California. We're in Minnesota now. But I've always had that sort of impulse, that just one little twitch away from just abandoning everything. And of course, I was single, and I didn't have, it was just me. I had no pets or anything. And I always sort of fantasized about just giving it all up and going to a new place and starting a new life, just starting over somewhere else. Well, that wouldn't have been any easier. That wouldn't have brought me anything that I was looking for in life, But we feel that sometimes, don't we? And I think it's okay to feel that. How do we channel this impulsive energy into something productive and something good? So in October, Sagittarius, you might be feeling a real sort of antsiness. You got ants in your pants, Might be feeling a real jazz hands. It's just like, I got to do something else. I got to do something new. This is just, I don't know. I just feel fired up. It's kind of that we just feel a fever pitch. And I think that you can do something good and something sort of energetic and impulsive. Do something very fiery. A really striking fast in something and a big fiery rush. But let it be to something that is creative and constructive. Not something tower destructive. So what we're doing is we're sort of sublimating a lot of this Nine of Swords, and we're channeling it into something that's going to be good. Go run around the block. Go to the gym. Go do something that is constructive, but also gives you that release of that fire. Okay? Go challenge yourself, push yourself. Go take a self-defense class or something. Go do some painting. Go chop wood. Go to one of those places where you can just swing a sledgehammer around and break stuff. I don't know what those places are. I don't know where they have those, but I saw it on a show. Which is kind of destructive, but it's also, I think, very cathartic for you. And that the Three of Pentacles in the position of your relationships and your environment. I think that you are you're a hard worker. That's for sure. And I think that a lot of your relationships are professional relationships. A lot of your relationships seem to be very practical. That they're kind of geared toward production and I don't know, transactions, I guess. It's almost like, I guess the card's kind of asking, when do you just hang out? Not everything you do has to be for a goal or a purpose or a exact, like, productivity. It doesn't all have to have an aim to it. Sometimes we can just do things for no reason at all. Okay. This is Mars energy too, Mars in Capricorn. So in a way, it's kind of like saying this, maybe this month, it's about pulling in some of your energy and doing that accounting and doing that self-care, and maybe sort of rallying yourself and channeling some of this anxiety into a really strong push toward your goal to get that level up, so sublimating some of that Nine of Swords. But I think it's also important that you find ways to make your life easier. You find things that are going to just give you a little bit of the pleasure. It could be that right now your life is all work and no play. This is a card of work. This is a card that says even your relationship is work. Maybe it's saying most of your relationships are work relationships. Think about your personal needs a little bit this month too, okay? Just a balance. You don't have to give up one for the other. Okay. But I kind of feel like, you're of the mindset that your effort needs to be producing something. Okay, and I like that. I think that's motivation, where everything that life is not about just being happy all the time. Maybe life is about being productive or having an impact. And it doesn't mean like, it's a matter of like how many birdhouses you can build in a day. No. But I mean, like, what are you creating? Are you expressing yourself in a way that feels real and feels authentic? Are you creating something? Are you creating your life? Or are you just sort of going through the motions? So I think this card is really asking, like, what is it that you want to create in life? And when we take this fiery energy and we're trying to channel it into something creative that feels authentic and feels real for you. It doesn't mean just go work some extra hours at the job. Maybe it means, do something that's going to give you that release of energy. It feels like you're having an impact, either on yourself, your life, or the people around you. Positive impact. Yeah. Now, the next card is the Ace of Cups. That's kind of what we fear. We fear not having that, not getting that. Okay. To me, that Ace of Cups is love, it's creativity, it's emotional renewal. Getting back to, remember, we have the crown, our source point attainment. Okay. Begin this month with love, reconnect with why you're doing what you're doing. There's a lot of fiery energy here today. Reconnect with the source. Sometimes that's the 10 of Wands, right? We're out here for so long, putting in so much effort, and we're so tired. And we've traveled so far that we kind of stop and look around and think, what am I doing this for? Why am I here again? What was the mission? What was the purpose here? So the Ace of Cups, reconnecting with that love, reconnecting with that the purpose, reconnecting with the source. I think this is going to bring about a refreshing water energy into the work that you're doing, and you're going to feel a surge of love for this work that you're doing. And I think that's really what we need. We need to feel the love again. Because you're not going to stop doing what you're doing, but you're just not feeling the love. And that's why we got this anxiety, and we want to just get rid of it. We want to just forget about it and just abandon it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to push through. But we're going to remember, we're going to slow down, and we're going to remember why we're out here pushing this hard for something. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that. Now, your destiny card is the Prince of Swords, and this is a fixed air energy. This is someone I think that is sort of has stabilized their mind a little bit. Maybe had this restless energy with the Nine of Swords, but now I think is back on point. focused again. So I feel like there's a hiccup in your life with that Nine of Swords. We feel it in there. And I think that if we deal with it and we acknowledge it and we stay proactive, we'll clear that Nine of Swords out and we'll be fixed. We'll be focused. Okay? We will be back to, being our regular selves again. And we'll be fixed on our goal. We'll be locked in on that goal, and we won't have doubts. A lot of those doubts will subside, and a lot of that anxiety. This feels to me like a mind that's becoming more calm, very fast moving, very energetic, but feels calm. Okay. Let's look at the mystery card here. What do we think it's going to be? Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be like a 10 of Pentacles, to be honest with you. Could be 9, 10 of Cups, too. Let's see what we have. The 8 of Wands, swiftness. I think that this is a little bit of the contrast for our 8 of Pentacles, right? 8 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles. Going faster, going slower. Yeah. I think we have to go slower now. We have to act cautiously. We have to pay attention to the details of life. We have to take the accounting. We have to do all that stuff, and we have to slow down and pay attention so that we can go faster, so that things can happen faster, so that our energy, all of our attention, all of our resources can be aimed at the same goal, and we'll get to that goal faster. So by slowing down now, you're able to speed up and get to this finish line quicker. It seems counterintuitive. But I think that that's going to be the name of the game this month for October for you, Sagittarius. Slowing down in order to go forward faster and get to the goal that you're after. Now, if you want to go even deeper, click on through to the extended reading, hit the join button down below. In the extended, we'll cast an I Ching hexagram, we'll pull oracle cards, we'll clarify love and money, and maybe even the yes-no coin. Okay. I thank you, I love you, and I'll see you there.